Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it is, of course, Castlevania. They made one into a TV series, Season 3, Episode 2, The Reparation of My Heart, directed by Sam Dietz and written by Warren Ellis. We're now making our way into Season 3 a little bit faster now as we catch up with Isaac, the one person we didn't check in on the very first episode. He's arrived in the city of Tunis alongside his ever-growing army of night creatures, sending the people scattering in fear naturally. And there he goes to see a blind and elderly man, a collector, and they talk about education and the unique collection he has. It's a fun scene. Particularly as Isaac still has his air of threat around him, particularly with his army of night creatures outside. Basically, Isaac's here because he heard a rumour that this man has a transmission mirror, which would allow Isaac to transport himself and his army, I guess, anywhere in the world. Yeah. I guess that's what its purpose is, yeah. The man did, but through clever dialogue, he reveals he sold it many years before to a strange man and his wife. And of course, Isaac knows who that is, we know who that is, and of course Dracula himself, which is the mirror that Dracula had, that he used to send Isaac to, well, away from the battle at the castle.
Yeah, it explains it too, so
it does. However, he does reveal he has a distance mirror, which can be used to see who the mind wishes you to see. And he offers it to Isaac, try it out, see what you think, and he uses it to locate Hector at Carmilla's castle. Happy to see that Hector is suffering, and then he looks and sees and finds Carmilla. He asks about who the owner of the castle is. It focuses on Carmilla, and he realises, oh, this is Styria, and that's where he needs to go. And the collector gives Isaac the mirror as a gift, basically. Leaving, Isaac tells his night creatures that they need to find a ship. However, guards will arrive and demand Isaac leave. And he kind of just like, don't do this, you fools. But Isaac agrees, yeah, I'm leaving. But I'm going to go via boat. But the guards are kind of like, you're not going any further into the city, bro. Go back the way you came, which, of course, is a terrible mistake. They order Isaac to leave, but Isaac sets the night creatures upon them and the city, offering up the people as food, up declaring that, look, I'm not going to be kind anymore. I've dealt with too many evil people and stuff like that. You know, kind of this is evil, Isaac. In itself, the whole city doesn't need to be destroyed just because.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah. So it's not great. But he makes his way through the destruction and the slaughter. It's very bloody. It's very violent. Screams and innocent people getting ripped apart, basically. And there he meets the captain, voiced by the late Lance Reddick. The great late Lance Reddick. He befriends and helps Isaac after some fun back and forth, and they leave for Genoa. The captain. Yeah. Great introduction of a character. Really interesting to sort of see how he talks to Isaac and how he seems to gain Isaac's respect to a certain degree.
Yeah, it's great dialogue. It's great going backwards and forwards. And as we can see that you get to see more of Isaac's humanity, I suppose, and more that he can be saved, that there's potential for him still. Yeah,
it's not so cut and dry. If he meets the right people, he could. Who knows, he could come back from this, basically. Absolutely. In Styria, Carmilla reveals her plans to her sisters. She plans to encircle the area up to Brrraains, closing off a land corridor and turning all the humans into the region into livestock. It's a well-thought-out plan, and it all makes sense when you see her maps and things like that. The other sisters aren't convinced. Their ranks are weak and it's a big area, but Carmilla reveals that she plans to make Hector create an army of night creatures to command. We've got our army. We can pretty much take over that area. Okay. But Morgana and Striga point out that Hector will either refuse, or worse, use the night creatures to betray them. Yeah, you know, Hector's not exactly your friend.
No, of course not.
Carmilla suggests torture, and it was like, you don't learn a thing, do you? You clearly don't learn a thing. That's got to convince them to help you. But Lenore volunteers to convince them otherwise, and the others kind of mock her in a way that suggests she has this thing about caring for certain creatures and things like that. But immediately but does that come from a good place?
Yeah, I saw this in two things. I saw one, that they either know that she's done this before, and she's either messed up royally, or she's a very good trickster.
I kind of thought maybe it's more like a pet thing, where she wants pets and thinks she can care for something, but she ends up getting bored inevitably with them and so on. That's what I kind of read it. But then we jump to Lindenfeld, as Trevor and Scythe have had a good night's sleep for once. Trevor goes out into the town, and there he meets Saint Germain, who recognises him as a Belmont. So that says a lot straight away, because Saint-Germain knows things. Obviously, Trevor is quite flummoxed by the man. His confidence, particularly Saint-Germain, has a certain level of confidence about him.
Yeah, indeed.
And we also learn that he goes under the name Count Saint-Germain, and he knew the Belmont family. So again, like, you're not sure about this guy. What's his game? What's this deal?
He certainly knows his history. He acts like he's older than he should be.
Yeah. Indeed. Saint-Germain tries to pry into Trevor's reasons for being here, but Trevor smartly blows him off. Doesn't know him, doesn't trust him. Seeing Salin as monk, Saint-Germain speaks with a man and requests access to the library. He gets his wish, limited though, by suggesting, and this shows a level of manipulation and where he becomes a questionable character, by suggesting his knowledge of Dracula and the church knew more about the vampire dating back centuries. It's in the books that the monks either can't read, because Saint-Germain suggests he can, or that have been damaged, and he can help transcribe those books. Before they separate, though, he asks them about their interest in hell. And they reveal that they believe Lisa is alive in hell, and that Dracula isn't dead. He went to find her. And I was like, yeah, you might be a bit mental. Thing is, we know that's not the case.
No.
Because we saw Dracula get destroyed. But then, hell is a figment, a construction in itself.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
What does that mean? Is there a possibility that they did go to hell? And that their souls are there, basically?
Yep.
Is that an actual thing? We shall see. We shall see.
I hope so, because I did like Dracula, so...
As Saint-Germain walks away, he talks to himself about moving forward and being successful. So there you go. Self-motivation. He's got his own motivations. Just what they are right now is unknown. Finally, we return, coming full circle, to Alucard out in the woods near his castle. He is attacked, but his speed and strength easily overpower his attackers. It's not even close. It's not even close. Like, the moment he hears a twig snap, you're like, well, he's ready.
Yep.
Yes. He meets the two, and they reveal they've travelled to seek him out for help, having heard of his legend. As everything calms down and they start to talk, they reveal they're a pair of vampire hunters from Japan. So this is a new twist.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
We've got Sumi, voiced by Rila Fukushima, and Taka, voiced by Toru Ichikada. And they were hunting the vampire Cho, who you get a brief flash of, and I don't know if you recognise this vampire, but she was one of Dracula's council vampires in the castle. Alucard reveals, well, if she was in the castle during the fight, she's probably dead.
Yeah.
Although, I don't think we can confirm that. I don't remember seeing her get killed.
No, I mean, there's probably a lot who didn't get killed.
But from the council, for sure, because of the flood, the holy water flood that came rushing in. But they ask him that he teach them the fight so that they can protect their own people. So Alucard doesn't initially answer. He leads them to the castle grounds and asks them what they see and all that. And they say, Dracula's castle and all that. And he says, no, it's my castle, which surprises them. They don't know Dracula is dead. He also reveals that he's responsible. I'm going to kill them. And he also tells them, look, this isn't just a castle anymore. The Belmont Hold is below this. So there's a lot to learn here. A lot in my head, a lot here and stuff like that. And seeing their commitment and wanting to do some good, I think, and having potentially a reason to continue to exist, Alucard agrees to help them.
Yeah, I got a few things. I got things that he saw an opportunity of not being bored. I also think that that's a bit of his father too, because his father obviously saw his mother as an opportunity to teach.
I think he wants to help. I do think Alucard wants to help. I do think that's believable.
I wrote down here then, like father, like son.
I think that's very much much there as well. But the potential, of course, is still there. At this stage, it seems cool. So whereas episode 1 we were checking in everyone, episode 2 starts to set up the motivations or the directions of people, except Trevor and Cypher. Isaac is heading to Genoa with his army of night creatures, and from there continuing his path towards Styria. We now know what Carmilla's game is with her sisters, and we've got this idea of Lenore somehow convincing Hector to assist somehow. Trevor and Cypher are just hanging out in this town, but of course we have issues surrounding them. We have the motivations of Saint-Germain, we have the monks, of course, and what potentially they're hiding in the priory. We have the judge trying to keep control. With all of that, now we have Alucard teaching these two young Japanese vampire hunters. So we've got all the setups for season 3. And what's interesting is, aside from Isaac, There's no connecting dots here.
No.
Nothing's running over each other. Everything is almost separate to a degree. Styria's far away. Alucard's doing his own thing. Trevor and Cypher are doing their own thing. Where there's no way to connect everyone up.
Nope. You know, so you've got like 4 or 5. Side stories. Basically, you're playing a game. Like, these are side stories.
Yeah, we don't have it. You're right. We don't have
a main story yet.
A main line running through everything that will eventually result in the crossover.
At some point, I'll say, I'm going to come. Yeah,
there is something. There's something. Almost everything actually has. You haven't seen it yet, but there is something standing in the middle of all these connecting dots that hasn't been fully revealed yet, and it will get there eventually. Episode 2, The Reparation of My Heart. What do you reckon? You got any thoughts on it? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.